That was very nice. Here are the Energizer 8-piece on-demand solar lights. Already, we've had 4,000 of these sets that have been ordered so far this month, and these are new. And what makes them unique and really different, first of all, you get the quality of Energizer, because the strength of any solar fixture is first and foremost the battery. So you know Energizer, you know you can rely upon it. So these are great solar white lights for walkways, pathways, around gardens. If you've got a pool area, perfect there. They then go on over and beyond, because now you've got color changing in them as well. And this is a technology that we've seen already in a lot of patio and garden, but you haven't seen a lot of it in solar. So all you have to do is flip the switch. It uses an amorphous panel here at the top. All of them are stainless steel. Then they're powder coated with different colors so that you can get what you want. Here's the black. Right now I've got more of the black than any other, but the sad part is I've only got 350 sets. That's it. And at $96.80 for 8 fixtures, that's a good price. I've got bronze. In the bronze, I've got about 4 dozen sets left. Gunmetal gray was the hottest new color for last year, so I have a few more of those, about 230. And I did have just stainless steel, that bright, shiny stainless steel like the front of your refrigerator, but those are gone. They're already sold out. And the bad part is I don't know if I can get them back in. So I do want to say this. If price is your only consideration, you can find solar lights in the marketplace that'll be less expensive. Okay? I think that's fair to tell you. But they won't be the quality of an Energizer. Energizer batteries draw more power from the sun. They hold that power longer, which means your lights stay lit longer and they stay brighter longer. I have my choice of solar fixtures. You know, I'm one of the primary lawn and garden hosts here at QVC. I personally chose Energizer for my own property, and I can tell you this morning was a good example. It rained all night long. And we didn't have a pretty day yesterday. We had very little sunlight. And we're here now in February, which is still one of the longest nights of the year. When I got up this morning, 4 a.m., to go out and feed livestock, every single one of my Energizer lights that light a pathway from my front porch to the bridge to cross the creek to get to the barn, every single one of those was lit. And they were lit with the exact same intensity that they started with when they came on at sunset last night. I want to bring my guest in. Nick Antolik is the representative for this great brand name. Nick, I don't even know that they can find these lights anywhere else, can they?
Dan, only here at QVC, and thank you so much for bragging on Energizer a bit, because I'm like you, I'm a customer. These are what I have sitting out in front of my yard, and the QVC customer for year after year knows that if you want that starburst pattern, if you want those lights that are going to be true dusk till dawn, Energizer is where you get them, and QVC is the only place for that. Particularly, let's talk about like solar or pathway lighting. Forget solar. You want it to be bright. You want it to be functional light. You want it to, when you turn the corner of your neighborhood, you want to see your house lit up. And that's exactly what you get. But the difference, like you mentioned, is that this is solar. And for the first time with Energizer, because of that battery inside from the solar crystalline panel, like you mentioned, even works during the overcast days, to the battery, that Energizer battery inside, that's the real difference maker. Dan, this set in particular, outside of all the things you love from the Energizer pathway lights, this one gives you 2 things. Number one, and it's crazy to think that this early in the season, we're already down to those limited quantities, but this gives you the ability to select your color. So most, how I have them out in my front yard 90% of the time is in that beautiful glow, white glow, the classic look that you see there. But Dan, as you scroll through, you're going to see that with a click of a button, you're going to be able to get that red, that green, or that blue. So whether it's a holiday or, like you mentioned, 4th of July, or we just had the Olympics, the red, white, and blue. Now with this set, you get all of those great things from Energizer, but you have that pop of color when you want it.
Also, I've got to say, the quality of the glassware is really impressive. We're in the process of remodeling our guest bathroom, and I was shocked to find out what even a cheap dual light fixture above the sink cost when you go to a home center. And these are just exceptionally well done. By the way, the set that I've got is not this particular set. The ones that I've got are 2 years old. and they're still lighting up every single night. And Nick, I've not had to replace those batteries yet.
Yeah, and you won't have to. And,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, the nickel metal hydrate rechargeable battery. This isn't, what you're putting in your TV remote. This is a rechargeable battery from Energizer. Years and years down the line, I haven't had to do it, but you could replace them if you needed to. I've had sets for up to 8 years, have not even had to think about it. Each and every day, I grab that solar power, and each and every night, I see the beautiful glow. Dan, you mentioned something at the beginning that's such a big pain point for some solar items, is that they come on and maybe they look great for the first night or the first hour, but then as the night goes through and you look out your window, you don't see that same result. And that's the big difference with Energizer. For this set in particular, they waited 8 hours after the lights first come on, not right at night, 8 hours later, and they still had, in this case, 96% of that same glow. So for me, Dan, that's the big reason why these are going to look like I spent thousands of dollars to have them professionally hardwired and installed.
Yeah.
And there's good reason why people do that, because when you think about lighting and you think about this investment, what a wonderful way to completely transform and have such a great impact in your house. And think about your backyard, as we're now spending more time out in the garden, or at least aspiring to. Friends, family, they're going to see this beautiful look, and what they're not going to say, oh, is that solar? They're going to say, wow, look at that beautiful pathway light.
Even the actual, and I'm not talking about the color morphine, I'm talking about the color of this particular light. The new chip on board LEDs are exceptionally brighter, but they can control the color temperature of that light much better. These mimic very much the color of the light that's used in 12 volt, which usually requires digging up the ground, putting wires in, all the rest of it. I have floodlights on my house, but there's no mood in that lighting at all. None. Solar lighting actually gives much more charm to a home or a property, because you get to direct the light where you want. By the way, I know Nick. He's no saint. That glow of light around his head, he literally took one of the fixtures and mounted it sideways on the wall so that you can see what's called the spread pattern. And the glassware designers who create this, they do a lot of detail work to create just the right shape so that you get this fascinating light display either on your walkway or by the edge of the driveway or on the grass. Take a look at how they look. And you can space these quite a few feet apart, because the spread of light on these is remarkable.
Yeah, and I've had friends and family who've come to me and said that. They've said, wow, I've seen large lights in front yards before, but where do you get that beautiful glow pattern? And I love telling people, number one, it's only from Energizer. And number two, you can only get that at QVC. Dan, the great thing about this, especially as this ground is thawing out, the only part that's not metal or glass construction is that plastic stake. Two things with that. Number one, they're going to stand up perfectly tall and straight all year round. But number two, you can move them as your garden grows. So what a perfect time and a huge impact you can do to your property at the beginning of the garden season.
Got a comment from a viewer, Julie I hope I get this right. Valenzuela said that the lights are very beautiful. So that's just, don't take my word for it. I don't know Julie, but she's never fibbed to me in the past. I agree with her. These are beautiful. I do have color choices for you. I've got the black in front of me. We also have the bronze. That bronze is very limited at this point. Like I said, like 4 dozen sets remaining with no guarantees that I can get more of them in. And by the way, people have been buying more than one set. There's the gunmetal. The stainless steel sold out much earlier. Nick, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for giving up part of your Friday to join me on the program.
See you, Dan.
Be well. You're watching QVC2, and if